Hello and welcome to another edition of the Time Flies podcast. I am, of course, your host, Dariel, and I have a very special guest in the building with me. For the viewers, you guys can tell who it is, but for the listeners, you guys should know this guy's voice by now. I got my guy Rainer in the building. Rainer, what is good, bro? How you been?
What's happening? What's happening? We good, man. We good. We excited to get to the conclusion of this. It's been a long time coming, but hopefully people enjoy these episodes and our conversations. And we're already thinking about the next one, so don't even trip.
Big
We
facts.
here, even when we
We
not.
here. We are here. And yes, just like my guy Rainer said, we are finally ending this epic list, this epic ranking of what we think are the best Spider-Man movies. We are down to the last two. There are only two movies remaining. If you listen to all the pods, you can tell which two are remaining. Go check them out. But we're gonna settle this for last and for all. I definitely said that wrong, but whatever.
Once and for all.
Yes, for once and for all. There you go. All right, my guy, let's jump right into it.
Let's do it.
I'm going to give you the floor. What do you think is the second best Spider-Man movie of all time?
All right. Let's do it. Number 2.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Far From Home. I mean, No Way Home.
Oh my God. You nervous or something right now?
I always confuse the shits because they both have 3 words. They both end in home.
I feel you.
I'll be confusing them shit. It's Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Oh shit, you got No Way Home number 2? I bet.
No Way Home is number 2 for me, man. Epic film. We're still kind of high from it.
I know.
Even me, even though I have it as number 2. I watched it again the other day, a couple nights ago. Still super pumped. Throwing my AirPod Max. I was in the crib chilling. Special, man. Great movie. Of course, you know, the special parts, the culmination of just these 20 years of Spider-Man. And if you guys heard the podcast where we talked about No Way Home and reviewed it, for me, I didn't know those guys were going to be in that movie. I made myself believe that they were not. So when they did show up, it was really special. I lost my voice. It was super.
I lost my voice.
If you guys heard the last pod, Spider-Man 1 is just the one for me. And just for like Willem Dafoe to come back, that was really something dope for me. I was really excited for that because I loved his take on the character. We all grew up watching the animated series in the 90s. We knew Green Goblin. We knew Hobgoblin. He's a menace. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously, you know how much I geeked out over Green Goblin. So I was super excited for him to come back. So all the villains coming back. I was really excited to see how they were going to incorporate all these characters into this new story. Obviously, they brought in Doctor Strange as well to kind of make all of this happen and make it possible. But like, it was a journey, man, because I'm backtracking. I'm noticing.
You straight.
So let's start with the rumors of all these gentlemen coming back to play their roles in these movies.
Yeah.
All these rumors were happening. It was circulating. We didn't know much about the movie. COVID happened. It got pushed back.
Worth it.
What happened?
Worth it.
No facts. Remember, too, the Sony Marvel deal fell apart for like a couple months. So it was cooked. So not only that, they finally got the ball rolling. COVID happened. It got paused. We start hearing these rumors about all these guys coming back. It's just like, yo, is this legit? Like, what are they doing? That's when all the rumors like, yo, Toby and Andrew are going to be in it. It's a wrap. That's it. It's happening. And I'm just like, oh, they definitely in it. But I just couldn't find a way of how they can fit them in it. Like the movie bluff in me, I was like, yo, how are they going to make this possible in this story? Like, because the villains, even the villains, I was still questioning because I was like, but I felt more comfortable with the villains than I did with the other two Spider-Man because I was just like, it's gonna take away from his story, which has kind of already been happening a little bit, which has
I,
been a complaint for people.
I could see that. I could see that.
So a lot of those things I was like a little bit worried about, but nonetheless, still super excited and looking forward to it. They waited just about maybe like freaking 4 weeks before the movie came out to drop a damn trailer, which is the
Facts.
one and only one that I watched. And I almost didn't watch it. I waited like 3 days before I watched it, but that was all I could wait. So saw the trailer, didn't show too much, gave a little teases, which was super perfect for me. And I was already in it. Obviously, I'm sold. Gave a little more of the story about how things were happening, why these villains started coming in and all that stuff. And I'm in, you know? So let's fast forward because I didn't watch no other trailers
My man.
to the movie date, you know? Super excited, know a little bit about the movie and all that. Stayed away from the internet for the day from as much as I could the week leading up to it.
Yeah, of course.
You know, that embargo lifts, people go to the premiere and all that, critics, people gonna spoil stuff. So try to stay off, you know. And then I got up in there and, you know, the rest is history, man.
You started crying.
My mind was blown, yo. My mind was blown, man. And
Yo, sorry to cut you off, but
cool.
but I feel like they did it. The audience, just everybody. I feel like everybody did a good job of not really spoiling it for everybody.
Yeah.
Like within like the first week after the first 2 weeks after the movie released, I feel like it was a good job. I don't know. I'm like proud of the human race a little bit. I was like, wow, like I don't really see people spoil. I actually see more people like actually posting like spoiler, like making sure that whatever they're posting is like, don't look at the next slide, don't read the caption. If you're going, like, they made an effort to not spoil it for people. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. I don't know, that was a really interesting tidbit that I just like found out as the days went on after like the first week of the movie releasing.
A really good point, yeah. And like even like on Twitter, like people put minor spoilers or major spoilers and they put the little faces so
right.
scroll past it or not read. Like, yeah, so like that's super good. Although in hindsight, somebody did kind of spoil those motherfuckers coming back
For you?
very subtly, yeah. And I was just like, I was annoyed, but not enough. And I was just like, I made it so far, yo. And I was just like, and this same person spoiled the credit scene for Venom for me. Because remember, everybody was making it a big deal, but nobody was saying what it was.
Facts.
So that person spoiled that for me, and then kind of spoiled it. And I'm like, yo, come on, man. I'm gonna follow her ass now that I'm thinking about it, because Doctor Strange is coming out, so I'm out of here. But yeah, man, the movie started off like I said last time, right after the last one ended, which I thought was really, really cool. I fucking love that. I didn't even emphasize how much I love that. It just literally starts right there.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And they just like, you know, they set up the movie. They're explaining what's going on, what his problems are. I saw like this really, really amazing breakdown of like how well they just bucketed everything and how it fell into place and pushed the story forward. I gotta find that link and I'm gonna send it to you because it was
send that my way, yo.
It was comparing how Spider-Man 3 failed compared to how No Way Home succeeded at some of the same things.
Oh,
like
okay.
ideas, or just like not specific plots, but just like ideas.
I feel you. Yeah, send me that link. That sounds interesting. Definitely want to see that.
Really good.
And I'm gonna text you too because you probably be forgetting. But I'm gonna text you and be like, "Yo, send me that link, dog."
Yeah, remind me. But yeah, man, this movie was great, man. Like, the first act of it was just like tearing. It was not fully tearing down his world, but it was like messing up his world.
Yeah.
Like now everything is just blended. Like for everyone, not just him and the people who he wants to know. Like it's for everyone.
Yeah.
And then like it goes on and it becomes more serious. Like now the stakes are higher. Now the villains are here. Now you got to worry about this and trying to get your friends back into school. Like he's kind enough to not really be worrying about himself, but like you did this. This is all your fault, bro. So like, what are you gonna do about it? And
Yeah.
then like we have that special moment where he kind of is ready to be like, all right, let me help you grab them with Doctor Strange after the spell so we can send them back. But then he realizes, oh, if I send them back, they're just gonna die. I don't want to do that. Like, it's not what I want to do. I just want to send them back home. I didn't know
Yeah.
what I thought was a good thing is a bad thing or can be a bad thing. And that I think that little thing was such a huge piece. Something small, but like it encompasses a lot of his story. Just like this little thing I'm doing that I think is good actually has a different effect that somebody had to present to me.
Yo, man, they do now that you're talking about it, they do such a good job of just like you're saying, it's like something so small, but it feels so real. It's like he doesn't want to, like you just said, he doesn't want to send them back because if he sends them back, they're gonna die. And then also, he feels so bad about MJ and Ned's association with him because they can't get into MIT. He feels so bad that he feels responsible that yeah their future is damaged because of him. So that's why he goes into Doctor Strange and he wants everybody to forget who he is. But then obviously he tries to like pick he tries to pick people, certain people who he wants to remember, and that's why the spell gets fucked up. But it's just like something so small. It's like human feelings. It's like, oh, no, I still want my friends around. I still want my friends to know who I am. That way we can still have this bond and this relationship. And the whole like I don't want to send them back because they're gonna die. That's just Peter being human. Like these are just human emotions. Like he doesn't want people to die. Like and if it's especially if it's gonna be because of him, he doesn't want that he doesn't want that burden on him, and that's a human emotion.
Yeah.
And it's so small, but if you really dive into it, it's just like that's the movie right there, and it's like that's why it leads into this big ass movie, and it's just like fucking
Yeah.
perfect, man, fucking perfect.
It's so interesting though, because I think sometimes, and I don't know if they do it intentionally or if it's just a trait of his, even though now this is the problem, right? If I send them back, they're going to die. I think sometimes he needs to remember all of this is happening because of a decision that he made.
Facts.
So it's just like, and I think that's why, like, fast forward real quick, in the end, when he makes them just forget Peter Parker, it hopefully, like, that's him realizing that, like, even like the little things I'm doing lead to other things. And then it's just me. So just forget me. Like, you feel me? So I feel like that, like, now that I'm saying it out loud, that was him realizing that, like, yo, just forget me, because even when I do something right, something else happens. I just can't juggle the two. I just need to just be by myself. That's it. Like nobody needs to know anything. I need to not be tied to nobody. Nobody needs to be tied to me. That's it.
Fucking amazing. Fucking amazing. And then obviously we get that scene with Aunt May when she it's not a spoiler, okay? The movie's been out for a while, okay? So whatever. But when Aunt May passes away, and then he's like, oh, I should have sent them back. This is my fault. And she's like, hey, like, listen, like you did the right thing. You made a decision based off what you thought was the right thing. Like you got to live with it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you have a power, you have a gift, and with that comes great responsibility. Bro, that quote, dog, is like, oh my god, bro. There's so many layers to that quote. That quote is like it's gonna live in infamy, bro.
Yeah.
It's so many layers to that quote, and it's not just superpowers. It's like you can incorporate it into everyday life. If you're a CEO of a company, if you're the boss of a store, a manager of a store, it's like you can incorporate it in so many aspects of life, and it's so layered. It's fucking amazing, bro. Stan Lee, man, R.I.P. But
you know, it's funny because all these things we talk about, like, this is why to me, Spider-Man is the best superhero ever, bro. And it's no contest for me personally. There's no contest, bro.
I think all you might have, things, yeah, man.
And yeah, like I'm glad you brought up the Aunt May part because before I do that, the line, it's so important. And it's just like we think about the other two Spider-Man iterations, right? And when they drop the line, it's very early in the story. It's
True.
but most importantly, Uncle Ben does not know he has superpowers. She knows he's Spider-Man.
Mm,
Still drops, and it's just
cooking,
like
boy,
it just,
cooking,
it just hits completely different.
cooking. I
Yeah,
totally did not think about that right now. You're right. In part one, he doesn't know. In part two, he
yeah,
doesn't know. Damn, you cooking, boy.
yeah. It just hits completely different, yo.
Yo, you're good, bro.
Completely different.
Yo, you're good, bro.
Mine,
Nah,
bro.
yeah, nah, yo,
Mine.
fucking great job bringing that up. Great job,
Yeah.
man.
Like, and it's just like, and that like it, and it's like her delivery and the moment she says it, like, because she could have said it earlier when she's like, nah, you got to help them. But she said it there,
Yeah,
then and there. And then she passes away. And you're just like, what
just happened.
the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, it was nuts. And so, what I was going to say, so I watched Spider-Man 1 with Toby, and then I watched No Way Home, right?
Oh
And these
shit.
are the two that for me, I was like, which one am I gonna put? Like, and I was having so much trouble. When I watched No Way Home, when I got to this scene, I knew it was number two for me. That
Damn.
was the scene. Everything after that, I was like, yeah, this is my number two. It just becomes a whole different movie, and it's just like, I don't know, man. Because like
Yeah, it's true. It's
everything leading up to that, like for me, and this is one of the what I would call like a flaw in the replay value in the movie, right? Obviously,
yes.
it has a lot of it, but you just want to get to that moment. Like, and I haven't watched it in a while, but like when I got to that moment, I was like, oh, okay, now we in the movie.
I feel
Because
you.
everything leading up to that is just like, it's just like he's messing up. It's a lot of fun. The villains come through. He fights, blah, blah. But like here's where really everything changes and the movie does what it was meant to do. So like if you keep rewatching it, you kind of just really want to keep getting to that part. Because then obviously
Yeah.
you get Andrew and then you get Toby right after this. So like it's so grand that everything before that, you kind of just want to like you can kind of just like do other shit while it's playing, like that type of shit.
Yeah, everything up until that moment. So the moment where you're right, the moment where the movie changes tonally is the fucking when he's in that apartment with the six villains and the
Yeah.
spider sense is going off. And
Yeah.
you can feel it. You're like, ah, shit, something's about to go down.
Yeah.
But everything prior to that scene, it's very entertainment. It's very popcorny.
Yeah.
It's very like, oh, all the villains, nostalgia is hitting you, but it's not. It's hitting you, but just on like an entertainment value. But then once that scene comes up, you're feeling like, fuck, something's about to go down, and then that's when Aunt May passes, and now the tone shifts from entertainment to nah, this is real life shit.
Yeah.
Now the decision that you made, look at where you at based off the decision you made. You got to live with it. You got to move on from it.
Yeah. And you got nobody.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro, yo.
And I think like you bringing that up, like it just made me think about his decision in the end too, where
Yeah.
he saw how like there's gonna be those moments where he doesn't have anybody. So he's like, I've already been through that. And I've lost the person I care about the most. So like, what is it to me that everyone I care about that's left is okay, but they don't know me? Like he's like, I think I can live with that. He's like, I can live with that. I've already been lower than this. This sucks, but I think I can live with this. And
Bro, just
that shit,
like the reason my face is all scrunched up is just like, look at the decision he has to make, bro. Like, that's a hard decision, bro.
the kid too, remember? He's a
And
kid.
he's a fucking kid, bro.
He's a
Yo,
kid.
son,
Still,
yo. Dog, I'm so glad we're doing this because like the more we talk about it, the more layers are like unpeeling. It's just like you're right, man. Spider-Man might be the best hero. Just like the decisions he has to make, the sacrifices he makes, the lessons he learns from those sacrifices and decisions. It's like, oh my god, bro.
Yeah, man.
I
He's
think
it. He's
I
the
think he
one.
might be it, bro. I think he might be it.
Yeah, bro.
Um,
But
I
yeah,
mean,
man.
yeah.
Ob-
Anything else you want to get off your chest?
Obviously, the rest goes unsaid. We get Toby, we get Andrew, and we get this epic finale. I do wish we got a little more in the final battle. I do wish we got a little more, but
What do you mean by
some
that? You mean like okay? You mean like okay? What specific final battle are you talking about?
oh, the final battle with all three of them in the Statue of Liberty.
Against all the villains?
Yeah, like
So,
that whole thing. I kind of wish we got a little bit more.
I feel
Um,
you. I wish Toby and William Dafoe had a moment. That was like that might be a big flaw, bro.
yeah, man.
Like everybody got their moments. Andrew and Jamie got a moment.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck?
he got his moment with Otto, which was really cool. But like, this is Norman, bro.
Exactly.
This is the beginning. This is what propelled him. This is like the biggest thing he had to deal with in his first month or year as Spider-Man. Like it was his best friend's father who was like a father to like all that shit. Like it's
Oh,
a lot, but
yo.
it would have just like added too much more to the movie. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh fuck nah, man. We needed that shit. That might be a big flaw. That might be a big flaw, bro. We needed that fucking Toby and Willem Dafoe scene. Yeah, the way that he talked to Doc Ock and it's like, I'm trying to do better. Something like that. We needed that in the movie.
Yo, watching Spider-Man 2 and seeing some of the callbacks, like
Crazy.
yo, he said that's what he said to him when he first met him,
Crazy.
bro.
The
He
power
said,
of the sun in the palm of my hand.
yeah.
Oh,
He's like,
crazy,
oh,
dog.
you're a Connor student. He told me a lot about you. He says you're lazy. He said, trying to do better. And then when he
Yeah.
sees him again, he's like, you're getting old, you're getting grown now. He said, trying to be better.
Trying to be better. Brilliant, Blazy. Oh my god, man!
Yeah.
But it's so interesting. I'm wondering why they did that because they definitely made a choice of giving Toby a moment with either Willem Dafoe or Doc Ock. Like that had to be talked in the meetings, and I wonder why. I wonder why they gave it to Doc Ock. I have a theory that I just literally thought of right now, but I'm gonna save it for like when for the rest of the rankings. Please try to remind me. But I also real quick before we move on, dude. I remember seeing all this stuff on social media, Twitter, Instagram, about how the digital copy of No Way Home, when it finally releases, there's gonna have a whole bunch of like extended scenes, deleted scenes, and then the fucking no, you bought it, right? You bought the digital copy.
My boy bought it. I haven't looked at any of the extras and stuff like that.
Fuck, bro. Like I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, bro, but like the deleted scenes, the extended scenes wasn't what I was expecting. Like they're cool, but like I was seeing shit online that like I don't see at all in the bonus features in the digital copy. And I'm just like I saw something online about Toby and William Dafoe, an extended scene that was going to be part of the bonus features in the digital copy. And it's not even in it. Yeah, so I don't know if it was like just like propaganda or I don't know, bro. And I'm a little disappointed in that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's just like they couldn't give us everything, and like I think if they couldn't make it the moment that it deserved to be, then they just decided not to do it.
I need an answer, bro. Kevin Feige, John Watts. I'm gonna hit you on Twitter. I need an answer, bro.
Facts. Stat.
Yeah, I'm gonna at you too. I don't give a fuck.
But yeah, man. Let me not take up too much time. That's it because we already talked about this movie. So, but I did think of some new stuff, which is I think I got everything off. But yeah, man, that's my number 2.
Bad. So yeah, just like my guy Rainer, we did talk about this movie. Go check out that episode where we reviewed Spider-Man No Way Home. Maybe a few episodes ago, but go check that out, please. Much appreciated. I bet. So your number 2 is No Way Home. So I know what your number 1 is going to be. My number 2 is Spider-Man 2. Yeah, man. No Way Home.
Yes.
No Way Home. Super recency bias. So now you know what my number 1 is. So I know what yours is. You know what mine is. But whatever.
You never know when a lunatic is gonna come with a sadistic choice.
Oh man, yo, Spider-Man 2, bro. Oh my god, dog. Yo.
Because I'm gonna put on a clinic. Get your shit off.
I'm gonna put on a yo, I got okay. I'm all over the place with my kind of nitpicks and just what I like from the movie. I'm all over the place. So okay, so what I like about the movie, okay, first and foremost, it's a great sequel. Okay, fuck the story of the movie and the continuation of Peter Parker. That was all great. Everybody knows. As far as a sequel and the lineage of sequel movies, this movie is amazing. Just amazing as far as movie cinema, a sequel to the original, having the pressure of being successful, of how successful the first one was, knocks it out of the park. What I loved about part two, as I feel like they did a really, really good job of making the audience catch up with Peter and his life. To start off the movie, they start off showing you about his job, about school, the relationship with Aunt May, the way they establish Aunt May's financial problems because of obviously Uncle Ben passing in part one, and they also show you Peter's guilt. So that's all right off the bat. I feel like they do a good job of establishing of like Peter where he is right after part one, as far as like where he is emotionally, where he is within the world, just like he has to work. And yeah, so that's something I feel like they did a really good job of just starting off the movie. Another amazing thing that they do in this movie, they do an amazing job of showing Peter not getting what he wants. And I don't think it's subtle, but the scene where he's at the ceremony for Jay Jonason's son. I think the ceremony is him returning home from his like trip or something. I forgot what it was, but he announces that MJ just accepted to like be his fiance. She accepted the engagement. But throughout that whole scene, the whole party, Peter's trying to get a drink. Nope, someone takes it away from him. Peter's trying to get a snack. Nope, someone takes it away from him. Peter finally is able to grab a glass. He takes a sip. There's nothing in it.
Nah, yeah, you cook it.
when he grabs it, you're like, oh, finally. And then he takes a sip and there's nothing in it. And that's just like, again, it's foreshadowing what the movie's about. It's about Peter making the decision that the decision he's making is there's going to be a sacrifice in it. You're going to have to give up something. You're not always going to get what you want. And that scene is just obviously MJ accepting the engagement from Jay Jonason's son right in front of him as he's taking the pictures. He has to work and he has to see all this shit. And then Harry is smacking your boy all over, dog, like a little boy, son. Huh, brother? Harry is just like, he's drunk. He's not giving a fuck. He's like, no, man, you know who he is. You're not telling me who he is. All this brothership. Fuck that shit. You need to tell me right now, dog. And Peter is just eating it, dog. He can't do anything. He's just eating it, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro. I'm rewatching it, dog. I'm just like, boy, son, like
really good scene for you to bring up like that. Yeah.
And like I said, man, I'm all over the place, but I'm just pointing out the scenes that I love, but also like what the scenes meant within the movie. We got to talk about Doc Ock, bro. We got to talk about Alfred Molina. Come on, man. Come on, man. And something I want to like highlight is part one and part two. Obviously, Willem Dafoe playing Green Goblin. We talked about this in a previous episode. Willem Dafoe wasn't really known during that time, but obviously the hiring manager or whatever for the movie, they knew what they wanted the actor to portray from the character. They did a phenomenal job of hiring Willem Dafoe. They do a phenomenal job of hiring Alfred Molina. They know they were, I don't want to say they were smart, but I'm really glad that they went for actors that weren't known and they went for actors that are actually good at their craft.
Yeah.
Alfred Molina, the scene where he's talking to himself in third person, super subtle. It's after he wakes up from the surgery and he's looking for a place to basically build his fucking experiment again. And he finds a place in a river and he's like, no, like we almost did it. But then Spider-Man showed up and he's like, we got to rebuild. But then it's like, we don't have any money. And then he's like, no, we could rob it. And he's like, no, I'm not a robber, but we have the powers to do it. What? It's like, it's like what? And it's like it's kind of brief, but I was rewatching it and I'm just like, and the camera is shifting from angle to angle, and it's showing you like this is Alfred Molina, this is the arms talking to him, this is Alfred Molina. I'm like, boy, I'm like, boy, yo, y'all did a great job, bro, hiring the right people to portray the characters and what you want the audience to learn and to like get from the characters. They did an amazing job with that, man. So like kudos for that, man. I fucking love that scene.
I had something real quick. You brought that up.
Sorry, bro. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. I didn't notice until you just said that how similar those villains are when it comes to that whole schizo, like two people. Like I didn't think about that until like now, but yeah, it's exactly what it was. And like both really shined in those scenes where they had to do things like that.
They kill it, bro. It's believable. It's like, yo, you feel for him a little bit. I also want to point out something that you mentioned this. I think it was in the Spider-Man No Way Home pod when we reviewed the movie, or it was in one of these Spider-Man ranking movies. You mentioned something about Sam Raimi, and you mentioned like the Evil Dead movies that he did. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because of the scene where Doc Ock, he's in the hospital and he's about to get surgery to get the arms cut off from him. Bro, that scene is scary, bro.
Come on.
I'm coming with it. Dog, that scene is pause. That scene is scary, bro. The tone of the scene, the eeriness, the screaming of like the 8 people in the hospital room trying to cut off his arms, and then you see the arms dragging one lady, you see the fingernails on the floor, and it drags her into the abyss. You don't see her anymore. You see the guy that has actually one of the cutting machines on him, he's actually winning against the arm, and you see the other 3 arms like activate, and they're like, oh, we gotta go there. And then you just hear the guy in the background just screaming, ah! And then, bro, that scene is scary. It's a little scary, bro. Like the tone is a little elevated. It's like, is this a superhero movie? It's like, I was like, watching it for the very first time when I was little, I got that sense from it. And then every time I've watched it since, I always get that same feeling where it's like, oh my God, this is like,
that's special, bro. That's special.
Yeah, yo, you gotta salute Sam Raimi because like that scene is scary, bro.
Even like when the scene starts, bro, that operating room is dark as hell.
Facts.
That's not normal.
Facts.
Those rooms are lit up like hell, bro. So like,
damn, good point, boy.
You nailed it though. Yeah. Absolutely. Like, he really got into his horror bag, and I'm glad he got to do that there.
He was he was like MJ going 69 paws in the Boston Garden. He was like, boom, let's go. This is my scene. I already know what to do. Don't hit me with the storyboards. I know what I'm doing. We good. Let's go.
That's it.
Boy.
And like to your point, like each tentacle had its own personality, and it was just like they were their own entity, and they're just he's sleeping the whole time, and they show him, they remind you this is not him.
Cooking.
It's not him. But yeah.
Like I said, I'm jumping all over the place, but I have so many thoughts about this movie. The fucking scene where he confesses to Aunt May about Uncle Ben, and he's just heartbreaking. He's like, what's heartbreaking about it is not even the fact that he tells her. It's the fact that he tries to put his hand over her hand and console her, and you see her pull away, looking at him like, I don't know you.
Yeah,
that shit hurt, bro. Yeah, that shit hurt. And then, thankfully, like a few scenes later, I think he goes to the place because she's moving, she's packing up boxes, and then she forgives him. So, thankfully. But like that shit was hard seeing it. I'm like, fuck, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, if I was in his position, like, shit, man, just having the energy just to be able to tell her is like, fuck, man, that shit is hard, bro. You have to confess, and you have to confess that you're the reason why your husband, my uncle, is not here anymore. So Peter did his thing, and not Peter.
The stuff she's going through, like we talked about it with when I was talking about No Way Home. It's just you did this thing that you thought was a good thing, and it led to this, and now you need to take responsibility and accountability for all these things that come along with it.
Yeah, and in the last episode we clowned Toby for not being a good actor because of his crying scene, but in this scene he doesn't really cry, but he does like shed a tear, and so much respect. Just like we clown him, we also give our guys flowers. So Toby, you did a good job in that scene in that movie. You're Rayner's guy. So Toby, you did a good job. Now I'm gonna get into a little bit into the stupid shit. Just something that was really funny. Do you remember? So it's after Toby makes a decision, like I don't have to be Spider-Man, and then he's like able to attend his classes, he's able to do his homework, and then it cuts to like Toby kind of having doubts of like, oh shit, maybe I need to go back to Spider-Man. There's a scene where he's walking on the street and some kid is getting jumped in the alley. Boy, son, that was on a main street, bro. That was on a main street, and he looks dead at the kid like. No, I'm like,
they grabbed his book bag. I'm like, damn.
That was on a main street, bro. Because like before they cut to showing you that the kid is getting jumped, Toby's walking, and you see so many people around him. It's like I get it, but like come on, man. Like you just call 911 or something. Just don't walk away. Like god damn, bro. Like yell for help or something. Just don't look at him and just turn away.
That's how far he went in the opposite direction. That he's just like, I'm not gonna take no part in this.
Yeah, it's like I get it, but I was like, all right, come on, man. That shit was so funny. Every time that scene comes up, I'm like, damn, you did my man's dirty, yo. Another little nitpick about it. The scene where he's swinging. I think it might be the first time where he's swinging and then the web shooter doesn't come out because he's having an existential crisis. He takes the elevator and he's with that guy. The actor's name is Hal Sparks, I believe. But yeah, he's in the elevator and the guy is like, man, awkward energy. And the guy's like, cool suit.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man is like, thanks. And then they talk, I don't know, they say something. And then the very last thing either one of them says, Spider-Man is like, kind of rides up in the crotch.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like rewatching it, I was like, this scene is kind of unnecessary. I was like, I know you remember the scene, but just like, what are your thoughts about that? Like,
I don't know if it was just Raimi doing like a cameo for that actor. I don't know if I didn't know his name, but like I knew his face. Like even when it came out, I'm like, oh, this is a guy. Like,
yeah, I think he was popping at the time. Pause.
So I think that's the whole point of that. Like he was just having fun, and it's funny that you bring it up because in Spider-Man 2.1, that scene is even longer. They extended it.
Ew.
Because I think they probably improvised that whole thing.
I think they did.
When you improvise, you have so much footage because you're just letting them go.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they had a longer version.
But, I mean, every time I watch Spider-Man 2, and that scene comes up, I'm just like, I'm waiting for it to pass, and I'm like, all right, whatever.
I love it because I love that suit, man. Like you don't really see that suit in that type of light and that environment often. So like I really geek out on the suit there. So that's why I like the scene. Also, like I get what you're saying though, absolutely. But I think that's why it was like so just like random and awkward. I feel like it was just like the purpose was for that cameo of that gentleman. I forgot his name. I'm sorry.
Hal Sparks.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, all right, cool. The last nitpick I have is super stupid, but the scene where he goes to the doctor and he's telling him about like I have a dream. It's not even my dream. It's my friend's dream. It's like, Toby, shut up, bro. Just tell him, though. It's like the more you try to make excuses that it's not you, it's like, all right, you're Spider-Man. Like, whatever. But that's not even what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that if you the scene, he's in his boxers, like, and I don't know if they're trying to like, I don't know if they're trying to show that like, okay, he went to the doctor to get a physical. They don't show that part of it, So basically, Toby is just in his boxers, just talking to the doctor. I'm like, that's a little suspect. But but that was a good scene because the doctor is like kind of been giving him like, you always have a choice, and that's where Toby's like, he gives up Spider-Man for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like he was in his boxers, and I'm like, oh, that kind of looks weird.
Yeah, the physical going on.
Yeah. So my man, thank you for letting me go, bro. Thank you for letting me go on a rant. I just threw mad shit at the wall.
Nah,
Just
you had some good stuff, man. Some stuff. And you brought up some of the really important scenes in the movie. So nah, you did it. That was great.
come on, bro. I'm a movie fan, bro. Me and you are movie fans. We're dorks in a good way, in a positive way. That dork title is not a negative anymore. It's a fucking positive. So like we just talk about the shit that we love. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you, like, just like your thoughts on what I said or about the movie, anywhere you want to go. Spider-Man 2.
No, I really, really, really liked those key moments you brought up. I will go a little bit deeper into, I think it was one or a couple scenes you just brought up. But with your, I guess, like cons, like, or nitpicks, I was curious if there was like, because you brought up specific scenes, like, and yeah, like they were all silly scenes and things like that, but they did have, like, the doctor one, you brought it up, like
that scene wasn't silly. That scene wasn't silly. Yeah, it had weight. I'm just saying, like, I was just being stupid.
It was though, because he played on it, but like, it's like you said, even though you're like, the more you try to stray away from it, the more it's just like obvious. But like, the doctor kind of checked him on that, and he put his hands on the wheel, and he kept the conversation serious, and he spit some real stuff to him. And like, there's times where I'm in that position in my life where I'm just like trying to talk to somebody about something, and like obviously making a joke or kind of like straying away from it. Like, a lot of people feel more comfortable doing that, like about something serious. But the doctor, like, he's like, no, we're gonna take it back this way. Like, I see what you're doing, but we're gonna take it here. So like, yeah, you touched on that. I just want to know if there's like maybe a big thing, like for me, like how I said for my 2 and 3, that Aunt May scene really was the one that I was like, all right, I got to put this as number 2. I got to put this ahead of this one. Like, this is the tug of war, but this scene pulled me past the line.
So you're asking me, like, is there a specific scene or reason why I put Spider-Man 2 at number 2?
Well, like, yeah, but like as a flaw, I guess. Like, what was the one that was like, okay, because of this, I can't, like,
I feel you.
Yeah. Like, opposite of what I said. Because for me, it was because of this, I put it ahead.
I feel you. Nah, man. The only reason why is because my number 1 is just like,
okay, that's fair.
Yeah, man. Spider-Man 2 is like, I don't really think there's a flaw to that movie. Spider-Man 1, I don't think there's a flaw to it too. It's just, that's just my personal feelings, my personal rankings. And as far as Spider-Man 2 being my number 2 ranked Spider-Man movie, I have it at number 2. It's just because the movie I have ahead of it is just like, it's a little bit of recency bias, but it's also like basically what we've been talking about this whole time is just how good of that movie is.
I mean, you're gonna get into it, so
yeah,
let me not have you share that yet.
But yeah, yeah.
I guess that's what I was curious, because I had that tug of war. I wanted to see if you had the same experience and thought process. But
I had honestly, I had more of a tug of war between Spider-Man 2 and the first Spider-Man. Yeah, that was a big tug of war.
So it was the same numbers for us, that like 3 and 2. It was just like, because I think we were each sold on our number 1. But that number 2 and 3 is just like, damn, this could easily be number 2 as well. But this could be number 2. So it could be like 2A, 2B, but like, for the sake of ranking, you want to like just make that decision. And that also just helped me like really like get my thoughts together on what I wanted to talk about when we had this conversation. Because like, you saw how I talked about Spider-Man 1, because that's how hard of a decision that was. I was just like, let me really, really geek out on this, because I felt like I slighted it.
I feel you. Yeah. That number 2 and 3 slot was, that was nightmare, bro. It sucked.
Honestly, man, I'm not gonna lie to, like, after some more time and everything, I might move. I might switch them, yo.
I already had a feeling, bro. I already had a feeling.
I
I
might
already had a
switch them,
feeling.
yo. After some, like I'm gonna give it more time. Obviously, like another year, like the rest of the year, things like that. Because the movie's not even a year old. I've only seen it 3 times now, so like I'm gonna give it some more time. But yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that's all I was curious about.
I feel you. I feel you. All
Like,
right, man.
like, is there
What up?
something in Spider-Man 2 that you're like, because like I know every time we talk about it, you bring up how great of a sequel it is outside of the film itself. Like, this is a great movie, but you said today, you're like, this is a great movie, but it's just an amazing sequel, which is a
Right.
tough thing to do. Like
Incredibly.
history, like that's not easy. Like
Incredibly.
the one that's mainly talked about is the Star Wars. I think it was Empire Strikes Back.
I'm not a Star Wars fan. Please, viewers and listeners, don't hate me. Don't
I'm
don't
not.
don't
I'm not.
don't be trolling in the comments. But yeah, I'm just not a Star Wars fan.
I'm not super big on Star Wars either. I like Star Wars, but I know that's the sequel that people are always like. This sequel really was like the one that just like elevated and was just a better movie than the first one. Like,
Yeah.
so like that's even like throughout the years, that's what I've always heard. And then like now Spider-Man 2, they put it in that same family where it's just like, yo, like this is, if not better than the first one, it's just like it is just an amazing movie. Um so like what for you, I guess I would say made it just like that special sequel? Because I mean, I'm sure from your experience too, like you've seen a lot of sequels, because you do watch a lot
Yeah.
of movies, and like you probably don't speak highly of a lot of the sequels. So like, what is it about this one that was like,
So it's a lot, man. It's it's kind of like what you said. I feel like this elevated the story of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Like part one was establishing, everybody knew going into part one, 2002 Spider-Man, everybody knows the character of Spider-Man. The comic books, the cartoons, everybody knows about it. But we're seeing it for the first time in a big screen, the first real live action iteration, respectable live action iteration of it on screen. And it's amazing. It's great. It's not corny. It's entertainment, but it also deals with real life situations and decisions. Great. Part two builds on that. Part two doesn't stray away of like, okay, part one did amazing. We got so much money. Okay, now we can do whatever we want. No, part two was like, yo, let's build upon the story. Let's dive deeper into the character and his mindset, into the decisions that he makes. But it also does it in a way to keep it entertainment. And also the pace of the movie, like the pace of the movie is great. It's like it's not really a dull moment in the movie. Everything has a purpose to it. Everything has a purpose to it, even in the scenes that aren't even like super engaging. Like the scenes with Aunt May, nothing is blowing up, nothing is being attacked. It's just Aunt May and him talking, but it's like you feel how much this is important to Peter Parker, and it elevates the story. And it's just the Harry Osborn. It's just like that's something else he has to deal with. The MJ, MJ is the love of his life, and you want to see them end up together, but you know that he's making decisions to get in the way of that, to put her best interest at heart. And everything is just like, it's not just like throwing it at you to like, okay, this is the movie, this is what you have to pay attention to. It's throwing it at you like, you need to pay attention to this because this is the stuff that he's dealing with. And they do it in a really good, truthful, entertainment way. I mean, I feel like I'm not really like, I'm trying to do a good job of explaining what I want to say, and hopefully I am.
no, it's well
But
said. Yeah, it's very well said. Because,
go
because
ahead.
like you said something that was really important, which is they built on the character and its story. It wasn't, okay, our first movie was a success. Let's make a second one because of that, and let's make more money.
Right.
There's often sequels kind of act like they forget about the first film. And it's just like, okay, now you know us, you know we're here, and let's move on with this story now. And it's just like, yo, what about that? Like life, like we remember our past shapes us. Like, so for the movie to do that was really important. And yeah, like when you said that whole money thing is, you're right. That's what they do for the most part. Just like, okay, this first one was a success, so much money. Let's put in more money to the second one. Let's make it bigger. Let's make all these action pieces. Let's make all
And
these costumes.
it takes away from the story.
Let's bring in all these actors. Let's do this. And it's just like, okay, now it's just gimmicks and like,
Yes, it's very gimmicky. And like I feel like they did do not the gimmicky part. They did add more to part two as far as like I feel like they kind of did add more actiony. They added more
absolutely.
like but they did it in the right way. They didn't do it just to be gimmicky. They like, okay, this is a little gimmicky, but let's try and see how we can like integrate it within the story to make it feel like some sort of purpose. Yeah. And they did a great job. Part 3 goes off the rails, but part 1 and part 2 coming off of part 1 was chef's kiss, bro. It was perfect. It was amazing. And I mean, I totally forgot to bring up the subway scene where he has to stop the train. Doc Ock is throwing people left and right, and he's literally figuring out a way to stop the train, and he ends up, oh my God, bro. Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, man. So Jesus, man, just these movies just get you into your thoughts and your feelings what we talk growing up, and now that we're adults, how much they fucking affect us and the thoughts that we have from it. But yo, yeah, I want to keep this to like an hour max, so the listeners and the viewers, they can really dive into what we're saying. So we're gonna close this episode out, and then obviously we're gonna come back. We're gonna give our takes of what we think is the best Spider-Man movie of all time.
Numero uno, y'all know by now. We're trying to hear us talk about it, so come the fuck back. Tune in.
Facts.
We gonna be here.
Facts. But before we close it out, my guy, of course, you know the procedure, you know the drill by now. I love giving my guests the light. So my man, shout out your socials, everything you want.
Yes, sir. It's your boy, Rainer. Find me on Twitter and Instagram as Breeze Riches, spelt the way they are spelt in the dictionary. Breeze Riches, no underscore, nothing, just at Breeze Riches. Hit me up, man. Let's talk about some movies, recommend some movies to me, or let's have a discussion about any of my takes or anything like that. I'm with all the smoke. Trust
Big
me.
Facts.
Fam. Trust me, fam. Are you dumb?
Facts, yo, give my guy a follow, shout him out, hit him in the comments, all that, man. His Twitter feed is amazing. He gives us insights into so many things, sports, movies, music. It's a good follow. It's a good follow. Hit him up on Instagram too. But yeah, man, as far as time flies, again, you could check the links down below for Twitter, Instagram, the YouTube page, the website. Check the links down below. I might have everything up there so you can go visit, maybe support the boy with some merch. Again, I got some dad hats.
Get the merch.
I got some dad hats. I got some tote bags. So yeah, man, support the boy if you want. But until next time, Rainer, I want to thank you again for giving me your time and your energy. I don't take it for granted. So thank you, my guy. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, so catch us on the next episode where we finally conclude the epic ranking of the Spider-Man movies. And we'll check you out. We'll check you out on the next episode. Peace.